kids wouldn't know what they
I
are.
know.
Part of the, in dealing with priority two, will be with the 6.5 teachers. As I said, we will return to 5 full days. We're not quite sure. It may mean a change in how the schedule is structured at the middle school, perhaps with increasing the length of the periods to still stay within the total length of the day, but to make sure that there's direct instruction going on throughout the entire day. So I can't say, Mr. Webster, right now whether it will go back to the 4-part rotation or whether the schedule will be developed in a different way. We are looking for certainly putting in a health program, and when that curriculum is designed, it will need to come to the school committee for approval. And we're also looking to restore physical education back to more than once, possibly more than once a week. We're not quite sure how chorus and band will be structured, but there will be a chorus and band program in the middle school. So that's priority two. And both of those will be addressed under the available funds budget. Priority three is predicated on the override, and it will add another 5 positions. And what it will achieve is significant, and that is it will focus on our elementary libraries, our elementary technology, returning that to 5 full days, where the libraries in the elementary schools can be open 5 days a week, where the computer labs can be open 5 days a week, because we lost those positions in June. And I know at the last meeting there was discussion about the high school physical education. In talking with Mr. Bernard, clearly the intention here, as it's stated, is to restore additional physical education at the high school. And what was taken out of the rotation or out of the electives last June was the elective program in the 11th and 12th grade. I am speaking with Mr. Bernard about the possibility of making some scheduling changes that would allow physical education to be offered perhaps during the power block as a way to get a little more flexibility in how we can run that schedule. And that may also occur at other grade levels as well. So that's part of the hesitation to say it's exactly going to be the same, because some of this will require some schedule changes in how that's done.
But this is all part of what you started talking about 3 months ago, which is kind of thinking differently and approaching things differently to try to offer more within our current budget structure, correct? So you've been thinking about this for several months, and while we're restoring things, they might not always be exactly what we had before. The programs will be there, but they may be in somewhat different shape or form.
Mr. Bernard did assure me that if the override is successful and we're able to put these programs back, that we'll be able to deal with that in terms of scheduling choices as far as students are concerned. Priority 3 will also add the 4th core academic teacher at the high school. So where you see high school PE / class size, it's physical education plus, I believe, the social studies position. So Mr. Bernard was looking for 4 academic teachers in addition to the physical education. So it's not high school, and maybe that's because we're trying to squeeze something in a box. It's that where it says high school, it's physical education and another teacher. So if you were to add this up, under priority 3, it will hire a paraprofessional to staff the library, the third library at the elementary level, allowing the libraries to be open 5 days. It will staff the computer labs, hire another paraprofessional to staff the computer labs at the elementary level. It will also restore technology, integrated technology, and perhaps at the secondary level, looking at it slightly different way in usage of how it interfaces with the library here in the middle school. It will hire an additional physical education teacher at the high school, and the 5th position would be a core academic teacher, I believe, social studies at the high school. So this priority 3, even though it's a small box and at the top, is very important to make our district whole. And under this funding, the cost of this would be $188,485 plus any benefits that would be associated with those additional 5 positions. And that would be the school district's portion of the override.
As you were talking, David, it struck me that, yes, it's high time that technology was integrated more into the classrooms, particularly at the secondary level, but it's even time to start thinking about doing it more in the late elementary level. It's amazing how many computer skills the young people already have by then. I think that would take another investment in technology, but it's not far down the road.
Well, we do have, we had 2 positions, Ed Biggs and Joanne Coughlin. Ed Biggs handled elementary, the 3 elementary schools, integration. But with the drop-off of one of the computer lab paraprofessionals, Ed has had to spend additional time just servicing the labs, because now there are just 2 paraprofessionals supporting those 3 labs, and in addition, picking up the middle school and the high school. So that's with over 800 computers, 200 teachers, that's a lot of work. Now, again, people have questioned, I want to be sure, and I'll go on record as I did last year, when we were talking about cuts. If the override fails, will you make these cuts, and will they be made in that way? And the answer was,
Yes.
they were, yes. And 11.5 positions were eliminated. The combination of priority 2 and priority 3 represents 11.5 positions. Those are the positions that we lost. The difference is that between the available funds budget and is that we only get halfway there, a little more than halfway there. The override returns us to where we were last June, and in fact, with priority 1, where we should have been based on the failed override last year,
Right.
and the growing enrollment over the last 4 years. So it gets us to where we need to be.
Comments or questions? David, when do we start kindergarten enrollment for next year?
That's done.
Do we, what do the numbers look like? Do we, because I remember, wasn't it this year we had a much larger class, or the year before than expected?
We're actually, we're a little bit higher than what was projected. We project for next year 168 kindergarten students, and I want to say the current enrollment projected enrollment is, based on signups, is probably about 175. So it's higher than what we projected, but we're still able to accommodate that. The only thing that I would say though is that within the kindergarten, we have students coming from preschool who had PDD, pervasive development delay, autism. And this was, we have students in our preschool who will be moving into kindergarten, and so there may be a need to hire an additional kindergarten teacher to address that need. However, I do think that we'll meet our target goal on the full-day kindergarten within the tuition range that we established. We're actually at a higher percentage next year than we are this year in terms of full-day kindergarten. And the enrollments are looking, they're well within the guidelines of not going over the 22 in a class that we set the limit on. So I believe right now that we're going to be able to meet at least basic enrollment at the elementary level. There may be some concern within special education for additional teaching staff. So that's why there's always that little bit of hesitation on what kind of a commitment do we make, and then not having to come back, unless I do come back later in the summer and say, here's where we are, and it's higher than what was projected.
One other enrollment question. We get the official enrollment on October 1st. Do we ever get an end of the year enrollment number? Just because I know that during the year we have a lot of move-ins to the high school, and so I don't know if that's something this year that you or Carl could pull together, so we could just see. I'd like to see the differences between where we were in October and where we are at the end of the school year. Okay. Next, we have under new business approval. Oh, we did the bylaws. We have the 2008-2009 school calendar. I was showing my kids last night. Look when you're starting school next September, even before summer. I'm telling them we need to go over this and approve the calendar. And there's also we have some, as we had discussed a couple of weeks ago. Mrs. Davis provided a report on school start times, and I believe we have some school start times that have been considered by the administrative council. David?
Yes. So the school calendar for 2008-2009 is somewhat of a return to a more traditional school calendar for North Reading. We have scheduled 182 student days plus 5 additional days for inclement weather. The first day of school will be on Wednesday, September 3rd. Staff will report 1 day earlier on September 2nd because the staff year is 183 days for teachers. The first day of school will be for grades 1 through 6, or 1 to 5 in the elementary level, grade 6 in the middle school, grade 9 in the high school, allowing for an orientation for our 6th graders and our 9th graders. Our preschools will open the next day, and all grades 1 to 12 will be open on the 4th. Kindergarten students go through an individual orientation program on the 3rd and 4th for the first 2 days. And then the first full day for all kindergarten students will be Friday, September 5th. We have also scheduled some professional development days, but I will tell you that we have scaled back on those. We had at one point one per month.